What up, world? You already know what time it is. It's your favorite co-host, Podcast Pack, back with another episode of Successful Habits. And as always, I'm here with the man with the plan himself, Coach D. West. What's going on with you today, Coach?
Man, not too much. How everything with you?
Oh, man, I can't call it, man. We had a good weekend, man. Went and got us some seafood and spent time with the family. So, I can't complain, man. What about
Yeah,
you?
for sure. Man, same. Didn't do too much or nothing. Just kind of, relax a little bit, watch some football, chill with the family.
For sure. Yeah, it was some pretty decent games on this weekend as far as football was concerned. But nevertheless, happy Monday to everybody. If you're watching this episode, that means you made it to Monday. You made it through the weekend. I hope everybody had a good and a safe weekend. But it's Monday. It's time to start the week off right. Started off with some successful habits. So hopefully you guys are tuned into this episode as you make your transit to work, to school, to practice, whatever wherever your destination might be to start the week. All right. Today, we got a couple of little odd topics here to talk about. Everything's mostly basketball, though. Um, I don't know, not many people know this about you, but obviously you love basketball as a whole. If you watch a whole lot of college basketball,
Mhm.
especially around, especially towards after Christmas, you know what I mean? When they start to get into that, those conference tournaments and things like that. So, who's some teams you got your eyes on going into this next college basketball season, man?
Of course, I always love Houston. I just think Houston had built the culture. They have a culture in place at Houston, just relentless, tough, defensive minded team. And I think they're really well coached with Kevin Sampson. So I love Houston. I love to watch Houston. I love to watch Creighton. I think they're very creative
For
offensively,
sure.
and it gives me a lot of ideas for to do stuff for my own team. I love watching Creighton. I love Kansas. I think they're well coached. They have actually one of the best freshmen, foreign freshmen I have seen come out of high school. He's gonna
He
be a
coming into his
freshman, but
freshman year?
yeah, he's coming into
Okay.
his freshman year, and he's probably one of the better guards scoring wise that I've seen come out in a minute since Jaden Hardy had
Okay.
came out. He kind of reminds me of him, but I think he can really score the ball. So I'm excited to see what type of action they put him in. But I think Kansas is gonna be pretty competitive as well. And then, you always got UConn.
Yeah, for sure. The thing about college basketball too, like it's so many different schools, so many different teams, so many different conferences, you know what I mean? So whenever you like coming up with schemes and concepts for your own team, where do you pull most of your inspiration from, college or NBA?
Say more so college because
For sure.
NBA, the skill level is so different
Yeah, yeah,
from the high school level. So I would say mostly college. And college kind of just give you the basis of the action and you can kind of
yeah,
put your own, kind of flavor on it, whatever
for
play
sure.
you want to run. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Me personally, I'm not too much of a college basketball. I wouldn't say I'm a college basketball savant, but there are some players that I have my eyes on. So obviously, the world want to see what AJ DeBanster gonna do. You know what I mean? That's a given. But the boy from Auburn, what's his name? Pettiford, Tahai Pettiford,
Yeah.
tough, tough. He a real bucket. I like his game. He's smooth. I think he's from New Jersey. He tough. I like him. I'm ready to see what he gonna get himself into next season. I know that Elijah Arenas going to USC. I think he had a torn meniscus this summer, 6 to 8 weeks or whatever was the current time. He should be back on the court by now. But what do you think? Have you had a chance to look at any of his games, and what do you think his game translates to the next level?
Yeah, I think he's tough. He's so 6'8", like you said, can handle the ball. The game that I watched, he was hitting them with a lot of counters. You can tell that
Yeah,
he's
definitely.
in the lab working on his game. So I think he got a chance to be really good. A type of player like that, I don't think he has a ceiling. So it's just about how much, development he gets his first year of Division I basketball. But I think he's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's always a good time to listen to Gilbert Arenas talk about basketball specifically. One thing that really stuck out to me about one of the things that Gil said was his approach to Elijah's development. So they was asking him like, why not send him to a school like Oak Hill, like Montvert, you know what I mean? Like these prep schools where you got your starting five and probably your two, three people you put in off the bench, all 5 stars, damn near 4 stars or 5 stars. And his response was basically, you know, he thinks that Elijah can get like he already has the skill enough. They know he going to the next level. So it's not like he gotta go to a school like that and prove himself. he really need to get somewhere where he can get the reps, he can get the game experience, he can get, you know what I'm saying, he can get all the touches that he wanna do. He'll be free to make mistakes so that when he as he transitions to the next level, he already be comfortable with that. Whereas his comparison was these kids who go to these prep schools and you surrounded by these 4 stars and 5 stars, you don't get them kinda I guess you gotta share that ball. That ball gotta make it around, bro. You don't get those kinda freedoms, you don't get that kind of those kind of touches. So what's your thoughts on that? You know, if for you and yours, what would you do in that situation?
Do I prefer prep or regular?
Yeah, if you had a yeah, if you were in his shoes, what would you do?
Well, prep is so either way you go, you're gonna have pros and cons. I think it's very player dependent. So if if my son was coming up and he needed to develop more so in his scoring ways, I think, leaving him at a high school where he can average 30 plus, that'll do him some good. But if I think my son has the skill already and he needs to learn how to play with other good people, because at the end of the day, and I tell kids this all the time, you're only good if you can play with other good people. Right, if you're on a bad team and you average 20, 30 points, that's cool. But coaches like winners. Like you
Yeah,
gotta
for
know
sure.
how to play with, you gotta know how to play within the system. You gotta know how to play with
Mhm.
other people because it's not just, street ball all the time. So I think it's very player dependent, but I would say prep is good for the kids who go and learn how to buy into a winning culture because,
Mhm.
like the preps you just named, that's some of the top preps in the nation. So they have a culture in place and it's a winning culture. So I think they go hand in hand, but for a kid like, Arenas, he's already developed skill wise. And like he said, he doesn't really need that. I think it'll be good to leave him at his high school, get some reps in. And
Yeah,
you
for sure.
get the flip side of it, you get to see all the defense. You get to see double teams. You get to
That's
see,
true.
different zones thrown at you. Like, so, the scouting report is gonna be very you based.
For sure.
It gives you a chance to grow.
Do you think that you think that there's a certain amount of time that athletes should spend at public schools? Like me personally, I think that there's a such thing as too early to go to a prep school or to a private school or something like that. You know what I mean? Like ninth and 10th grade, I think you need to be in the trenches really seeing what it's like out here to play against these different you know what I'm saying? Like be able to play against people in public schools, but not only just necessarily play against these people in public school, but also interact with these people as you go to school with these folks. You know what I mean? Before you actually make that shift to go to a prep school or private school, because that's really two different worlds, bro. Like, let's just be honest. You know what I'm saying? That's two completely different environments, two different worlds. I think it'd be good for kids to get an exposure to both.
Yeah, I think it'd be very, very beneficial for kids to get exposure both. I would if I could have a picture perfect plan to do it, I would wait till his senior year because at that
Yeah,
point you kind of know what type of player he is.
for sure.
Like you know what type of development he needs. He might be a great player, but he needs that social development around
For
another
sure.
way, another area of kids, or vice versa. He might be great out the court, but he need another environment around people on the court.
Hmm.
Like so I think senior year would be the best time to do it. And it would be the best and worst time because especially if you done stayed at this school for 3 years and now you
Yeah,
asking the kid to leave, what they built to go to a prep school. So I think either way has its ups and downs.
for sure.
So I would say like if I know where my kid is going, like if I'm committed already, I probably would leave him be. Like, like leave him at
Hmm.
his high school for 4 years. But if I think my son needs some more exposure, if we're trying to get a specific school to kind of offer, then I would probably, push the prep school idea.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good way to look at it. How you feel about reclassing?
I
Like to
don't
graduate later?
I don't feel no type of way about it. I'm a firm believer in, your journey is your journey, like
True.
regardless of when you come out. Like
True.
so I don't feel no type of way about it. I know, other coaches and people may have opinions about a player, but they don't respect it or things like that. But I don't, I just if it's meant for you, it's meant for you, regardless
For
of when
sure.
you come out.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. How you feel about okay, so whenever these players leave high school, they have so many options these days, bro. Like you could go to college, you could go overseas, you can go to programs like OTE. How you feel about number one, programs like OTE, and number two, well, I guess number one would be having that many options as a player, and number two, programs like OTE where it's basically semi-pro if that's what you play up.
Yeah, I think this great for kids that doesn't want to go to college route. Because not
Hmm.
everybody wants to do the college thing. I think if you got a chance to go to college, I think you should try it because I
For
think,
sure,
college is the atmosphere that you want to experience. Just going on the road, seeing the hostile
I
environments,
agree.
living a dorm life, living a day to day life. Like, that's a journey. A journey I think that can help you in a lot of ways, grow you into the person, to make it to the
Hmm.
NBA. But I think it's great for kids to have, multiple options. What you think?
I mean, I definitely like the options. I think that I don't know, man. Everything is getting like, don't get me wrong, man. It's always about the money, but like everything getting so much about the money now. You know what I mean? I don't even think I think sometimes there's too many options is a bad thing. You know what I mean? Because I think that yes, team programs like OTE and going overseas, it's gonna give you more game time, different kind of game exposure. But I don't know, man. Like it's a dime a dozen that though that people come out of those programs and be successful in the NBA. I mean, granted, like is a new thing. You know what I mean? They ain't been around that many years, but so far the Thompson twins doing their thing though. You
Yeah,
know what I
they're gonna
mean?
be Thomas twins should be special. They're gonna be
Yeah,
special because they
yeah.
got
I
some
can't wait.
athleticism. You can't teach that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I
I
think,
think they're gonna be.
I think Rob made a good case for himself when he went and played with in the league with them for a little couple games and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think we still need a bigger sample size of it to see. I do like
Yeah,
the fact that they're about to start putting regulations on NIL. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for these players getting paid, but like I said, at the end of the day, you can't just be all about the money, man.
yeah,
So, but as far as I'm sorry, as far as NCAA is concerned, man, we got a I've made a commitment to myself that I'm gonna watch way more college basketball this year. I picked back up on college basketball last year in the tournament, and I ain't gonna lie, that's just a whole different type of basketball, man. You see people really play like teams, man, for real, for
yeah,
real.
yeah.
Anybody
Like,
could go down on any given night,
and that's what I kind of was saying. Like, college is so like system oriented.
for sure.
Like it's like you got to fit into a system, and that's why I tell kids like you can average 30 points in high school and go to college, and you probably coach might ask you to be 3 and D,
Yep,
play guard the best player and go sit in the
yep.
corner. You know what I mean? Like you can't be so small minded that it's score score score, or you won't survive because college is not like that. Because oftentimes you've had a senior who been at this school for 3 years, and you're not gonna
Mhm.
come. It's just a process.
Yeah, for
Every
sure.
now and then you have some freshmen that can do what Cooper Flag did, Paulo did, Zion did, players like that, like some lateral picks.
Yeah.
But oftentimes, like you're gonna go to a college and play in a role, play in the system. So
Mhm.
and you gotta be able to adjust to that, be able to adapt to it.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you 100%. So last time we talked basketball, you mentioned that you had more or less called SGA's growth early on, maybe like 2, 3 years ago, early on. And we also talked about how you was high on Cooper Flag going into this next season. Anybody else you got your eyes on that did well in the tournament last year or just got drafted this year? Period.
This draft I think was a tricky draft because just of player situations. Like I don't know how teams are going to kind of use these players in what instances, but Cooper Flag kind of caught my eye because like he led his team in every stat, like
For sure.
points, rebounds,
Yeah.
assists, like at his size and he's able to handle the
Swiss
ball.
Army knife.
Yeah, like but I think Ace Bailey is gonna be pretty good. I think he got a chance to be.
I like that he went to Utah, bro.
Yeah,
I think it's a good situation for him to be able to, get some game time experience early.
yeah, then he got good size. He plays both
Yeah.
ends. I think Ace Bailey, he has a bag that I think he can be pretty special. I think he can be pretty special, and I like Dylan Harper as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm excited to see how Dylan Harper fit in with the Spurs. I'm glad that, I'm glad that we made some space for him, because I like his game. 6'7", 6'8", almost.
Hmm.
Big guard, you know what I'm saying? So, I like his game. I'm excited to see what the Spurs look like over these next couple years. But as far as like rookies, I'm curious to see what
Now,
Derek Queen gonna
I
look like.
I think Dylan Harper like 6'4".
Nah, he ain't that small.
Yeah, I think he like 6'4", right?
Nah, he ain't that small. Let me see. Nah, he's 6'6".
Six
He's
six.
6'6". Yeah, he's 6'6". We'll take 6'6". That's still a big guard though.
Yeah, yes,
That's
yeah,
still a
oh
big
yeah, for
guard.
sure.
Yeah, 6'4", 6'4", that's small. 6'6", we can
Yeah,
live with that. And he
yeah,
ain't
yeah,
no,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He got a little weight to him. I mean, he ain't got an NBA
yeah.
body just yet, but you know.
He got good pace to him too. I like
Yeah,
him.
for sure.
I like him.
I like it. It's
Man,
always interesting to watch a lefty, bro.
yeah. Let me tell you somebody who I like. I just want to see his transition into the pros because I just don't know how they're going to use him. I like Jeremiah Fears from
I'm
Oklahoma
curious to
State, the
see.
Anointed
Yeah,
Pelicans.
yeah. I'm
But
cur I ain't
I'm
gonna
just
lie.
not how sure. I don't know how their system will, benefit them. I don't know how they'll use them. So I just have to see how
Yeah, I
they
mean,
what how they'll play out.
good thing about it is they don't have an identity right now. They scrambling. They don't got. I mean, they got Zion, but Zion, hopefully Zion can stay on the floor this season.
Yeah.
I'd love to see 60 some games from Zion Williamson. You know what I mean? But yeah, I want to see what they do with Fears. I ain't gonna lie, he got the hardest jersey. Zero Fears is the hardest jersey concept that I have ever seen almost. But
Yeah, that's hard.
I want to see Derek Queen too. Derek Queen,
Yeah, Derek Queen.
he got game, man. I think, people. I was talking to one of my homeboys about him when he put on his little performance in the tournament or whatever, and I said he was gonna get drafted. I didn't think he was gonna get drafted that high, but I said he was gonna get drafted, and but my homie was like unathletic, slow. I mean, what he like 6'9", 6'10" on a
Yeah,
good
something
day.
like
You know what I'm
that.
saying? Undersized, but I don't know. I'm curious to see, man. These days your big man can your big can look like anything, really. You know what I mean? But I mean, he got time. He young. You know what I'm saying? To develop and things like that. I know that Janai Broom went to the 76ers. They got a lot going.
26, they gotta have a bounce back year, man. They gotta stay healthy. They can't
Yeah,
stay healthy.
they got a lot of people over there, man. They got what's his name? Jared McCain he should be back this season. Did they extend Quentin Grimes? I think they extended Quentin Grimes. Obviously, Paul George. Embiid, hopefully he can come back healthier. But they got a lot of bodies over there, man. They got a lot of stuff that they need to figure out for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
But last season, we seen a lot of people take the leap, though. All right, so we seen a lot of people in the NBA take the leap. A big one for me was P5. What about you? Who did you see? Who did you like that took the leap last season?
Yeah, I would have to cheat and say P5 too. I just think, man, you can tell that he's working on his game. Like he
Yeah,
can he can
facts.
he can lead the team. They just need a little more scoring around him. They can kind of, help balance him out. But I definitely think he's ready to make that leap. But I guess since you took P5, I'll have to go Halliburton. I think Halliburton hit some big shots in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
I ain't gonna lie, man. He made me a believer, bro. He made me a believer, man.
Yeah, I think he hit some big shots, man. I think he kind of showed people that he
For sure.
wasn't,
That he official.
overrated like they.
Yeah, for sure. I think Brunson took the leap last season. I mean,
Yeah, well,
Brunson was
I
already
think, yeah, Brunson was,
nah, but that playoff performance, bro, that was different, bro.
yeah,
That was superstar playoff performance, bro.
yeah, for sure.
For me, that was his leap that he took. He went from all-star to superstar last season based on his performance for me. Cade, you think Cade took the leap, or he got to do it one more time?
I think he's ready. Man, I remember watching him at Oklahoma State, and when I watched him at Oklahoma State, you just kind of see him out there, this big guard. He plays with
Mhm.
pace. My only question mark is, was he gonna be consistently able to hit that jump shot? That was
Yeah,
my only
facts.
question mark. And like you could just tell like every game he just continued to get better, continue to.
Mhm.
He takes his craft serious. Like he's dangerous in the screen and roll. I think they got some pieces around him that can be pretty good. I think he's ready. I think he's on the verge of being an all star.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I wouldn't be mad. I would say if I see it one more time, I'll be sure about it. Like I
Yeah.
think he took the leap. I think he official. I think he's here. But if I see it one more time, I'll be sure. I'll be for sure about it. Yeah, I'll be for sure about it. So yeah, so in other news, Cam Thomas. So Cam Thomas just got extended by the Nets, right? We know him for being a pure bucket, but we also know Cam Thomas for being one of these small firecracker guards, bro, like a Peyton Pritchard kind of. You know what I mean? What do you think? how do you feel the future for those kind of guards is gonna look in the next couple of years?
I think you're gonna have to be a really special scorer to be, to be limited in size. Like
Yeah, bro.
you're gonna have to be really gifted one on one and off the screen and roll. Like you're gonna have to do something that stands out because the league is just naturally the game is evolving. They're going to bigger guards, 6'6" guards, six
Yeah,
seven guards. Like as the game evolves, the bigger the game grows. It's just I'm not gonna say it's impossible. You just have to bring something to the table that's really valuable, really special.
yeah.
Because like, if you look at the smaller guards, like even Trayvon Waters, shout out Trayvon Waters, he was one of
Mhm.
the best SEC guards we seen. He won Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. And then he just, like got a real bag. But when he get to the league, it's just, the league is a little different.
For
And he's a
sure.
smaller guard. And like, like it's no knock to them, like Sharif Cooper. I think he has the
Mhm.
talent to be in the NBA. It's just he's a smaller guard, and
Yep.
it's just harder to stick. You have to fall in a very specific situation for that to
Mhm.
stick. I think. Now.
You gotta be elite,
Yeah,
elite at something if you're gonna be under 6'3" or 6'3" and under, 6 yeah,
preferably defensive
like
because
a
like you seen like
Davion Mitchell.
yeah, like how he's able to stick to the lead because he
Yeah,
guards. Like he
yeah,
guards and the way he guards, like you can't find that in that regard. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
for sure.
he's special on that end of the floor, which makes him stick. But I think it's
Yeah,
really hard to stick though.
yeah, I agree. Well, him and Lou Dort are some real big names I could just throw out there. Obviously, you got Peyton Pritchard, elite six man. Then, we got people like TJ McConnell who just made a killing off of doing small man
Yeah, he's
things, you
just
know
a
what I'm
vet.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'm curious to see what the future looks like for small guard. Like you said, I think that in the very near future, if we see the only small guard we're gonna see gonna be like made like amazing. You know what I mean? Like elite at
Yeah.
something like a Trey Young, like a Curry, like
What
those
you
kind of guard.
I'm curious, what do you think that process is like? Like, what do you think that process is like for, let's just say, you're a McDonald All-American senior year, or we don't even have to go that far. Let's say you've been in a high school for 4 years, you've been a big dog on campus, then you had to transition into a role in college to where you don't get all the attention, you don't get all the accolades, quote unquote, as you should, all the playing time as you would like. Like, what do you think that transition is like? And then to ride that out for 4 years and then transition into another situation if you're fortunate enough to go to the NBA, right, hear your name called on draft night, then you're in another situation where you have to play another specific role. Like, what do you think that transition is like?
Honestly, man, it really depends on the person. But for most people, I would say I would imagine that that is difficult, bro. Like it's difficult. Like I say, it really just depends on the person though. Like, but I could see it. I've been in situations where kind of exactly what you're describing. You know what I mean? Like for my high school, I went to a small school. I pretty much got an opportunity to play basketball however I wanted to play it. Granted, I ain't had the ultimate green light, but mine was pretty green, bro. You know what I mean? So to go from that to a freshman in college. First of all, I got there, I was small, bro. I probably weighed 175 pounds, so I still had work to do as far as getting my body together. The workouts was different, so it was understandable that I went in, I had to go take a back seat to somebody, you know what I mean? But I realized that, and I accepted that. I think it's difficult if you don't accept it, you know what I mean? If you think that it's some BS, you know what I'm saying? If you think that you getting done a certain way, you know what I'm saying? I know that that get difficult, especially mentally. Then you
Yeah.
gotta think too, if you go like it's if you go from pretty much the ultimate green light, taking any shot that you wanna take for the most part, and then you go into a situation where you have limited shots and you're not allowed to miss, you're not allowed to make no mistakes, you know what I'm saying? Because you coming right off the floor, that can do something crazy to your confidence, bro.
Man, and like I think, and there's one thing that I said that I wouldn't do. And I'm young in the coaching or whatever, but like I just can't snatch players out for their first
Mhm.
mistake. You know what I mean? Because like basketball is an imperfect game. Nobody out there is gonna be perfect. Now, granted, some people leashes are longer than others.
For sure.
realistically, like some people are allowed to mess up a little more because of what they bring to the table, but
Mhm. They earn
like
the
especially
longer leash though most of the time.
yeah, and then it's like, especially if I expect this player to give me like meaningful minutes, you can't snatch him out
Mhm.
for every little thing he does. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you got to kind of let him grow. Because like the more he's scared to mess up, the more he's gonna mess up.
For sure.
So it's just like you got to give him, an opportunity to grow.
Yeah. And as players, as a player, bro, that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves, bro. As a player, it was one of my biggest fears. Now looking back, it's a pet peeve of mine. But as a player, man, I used to hate playing for coaches that like you might well come take the jump shot. You know what I'm saying? You might well come step out here and guard them. Like I can't do nothing. You telling me which way to slide. You telling me which shots to take, which shots not to take. You know what I mean? Who to pass it to, when to pass it. You know what I mean? Like I get it. I get it. Trust me, I get it. Cause I've been on both sides. I did some very little coaching for the city league, and I realized that was not for me because I couldn't, bro. I couldn't sit back and just let you play, bro. I'm the type to micromanage, and I know that I can't. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? But
but coaching is a gift, like is a skill,
for
like
sure,
because even if you know basketball, that don't mean you can coach it. Just like even if you know basketball, that don't mean you can train it. Like
for sure.
coaching and leading is a skill for sure.
What was a big thing that you had to learn how to do when you became a coach? Like from the actual coaching, from control, from the managing.
From managing the game aspect, well, it was a learning curve all over, but a very important managing the game aspect. Kind of just as the season went on, like I learned how to kind of, do the thing we talk about, like let my players go a little bit. Kind of like trust the practice, trust the work we put in, trust the coaching that I did in practice, that they know the
Yeah,
right play. You know what I mean? And try not to get
yeah.
so caught up in that. So like I try my best to focus on adjustments rather than play by play analysis because I think that's what practice is for. Like practice is when I train you, coach you hard. Then in the game, I kind of let you go. Like you should
Mhm.
know what we're looking for, type of deal. So I think I got better with that.
How do
But
you
I
think
I told myself I couldn't be a micromanager though. I'm gonna allow myself to do that. Like I want to teach you to be a ball player. Like you go be a
Yeah, for
guard.
sure.
And like, cause I hate I strongly dislike when players come to me and let's just say, for example, they can shoot, right? And they was like, well, coach said I just need to shoot. I'm like, bro, you need to be a guard. Like you need to be
Yeah.
able to dribble, pass, shoot. Like you got to be able to do these three things. Just because shooting is what you do good, that don't mean you
Yeah.
limit yourself. Now you never want to put the ball on the floor. You never want to make passes. All
Mhm.
you want to do is shoot. Like that's not gonna get you to where you want to go.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%, and like I said, man, I don't know, have you ever played for a coach like that? How did it make you feel?
Where he just used you for your like whatever you were strong at.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, I was blessed enough to have I had some pretty good coaches in my life, so all of my coaches kind of, pushed me past that comfort zone. Like, so, and I think every year was different. Like my freshman year, so my eighth grade year going into my freshman year of high school, when I first tried out for high school, I made the varsity team or whatever. And after I made the varsity team, I was labeled a shooter. Like in middle school, I could shoot, but it wasn't like the best thing I could
Yeah,
do. I could knock down some shots. But in
facts.
ninth grade, like I was like a spot up shooter because the team had already had like three or four seniors and they
Mhm.
went deep in the playoffs and they were scorers. We got Danny Dozens here in Mississippi. We had a Danny
Mhm.
Does on their team, probably one of the best leaders I done had. Like, he kind of set the tone coming in to a program tradition where it's tough, with
Mhm.
winners. He kind of showed me a lot. But yeah, so when I came in my freshman year, I was just a shooter, and like every year my role changed. So I was put in a position to where I didn't have to make so many decisions my freshman year.
Mhm.
Then sophomore year, after learning from the seniors and learning from that year, my sophomore year got a little better. Got on the ball more. I made that transition to a point guard when I was able to, make decisions. Then my junior year, I
Yeah,
kind of
facts.
developed into this to a pretty decent guard.
Yeah, you had the luxury of taking your time and actually learning from the people in front of you.
Mhm.
No, not everybody has the opportunity, either that or whether it be they for example, you got a team right now where I mean, how many seniors do y'all have? It ain't that many, right? Y'all pretty young.
You know,
Your team
2,
pretty young, right?
2 seniors.
Exactly. So you know what I mean? It's your team is in a situation now, kind of like the one I'm describing, where they don't necessarily have that quote unquote veteran senior leadership, you know what I mean, to learn from. So they learning on the fly. And I think, based on the things that I hear about the team and what I've seen so far, I mean, y'all doing a really, really good job with the programs. All right. Well, so I don't know if you've seen this, but the other day, the Redeem team got the Hall of Fame jackets. LeBron and Chris Paul both got Hall of Fame jackets, and they are still playing in the league right now today. That first of all, that's
Dope
crazy.
stats. Yeah,
That's
that's
crazy,
tough.
bro.
That's
But
tough.
what I really wanted to ask you was so Melo got his Hall of Fame jacket too because he was part of the Redeem team. Where do you have Melo in your list of top scorers of all time? You ain't got to put him in a specific spot, but we'll say what, top 10, top 20? Where you got
Top
him at?
scorers? I
Yeah.
think scorers, whew, man, this off the top of my head, but I would think he has to be at least top 6, right? So what's your
I guess
definition
I
of
So that was my next question. What is your definition of a scorer? Because LeBron James, the all-time leader in points. Would you consider him a scorer?
I would consider him a scorer, but I think, there are other more creative scorers. I mean, I
Okay.
feel like
So what's your definition of a
he's the
scorer?
all-time leader in points, like, he has to be a scorer.
Yeah, for
You know what
sure.
I mean? I think other people, like, just look for, like, when you hear score, you think of the word like, you think of creative, like, step
Yeah,
back, like, he
for
just gets the
sure.
job done, you know what I mean? Like, he leads the
For
NBA
sure.
in points, so,
For
like,
sure.
he has to be a scorer, so it gotta be LeBron. When I think of score, I think of Kevin Durant.
Yep.
When I
KD
think of
number one for
score
me.
yeah, when I think of score, I think of Carmelo. When I think of score, think of Steph. When I think of score, I know there are some old names I'm missing as well, like
I ain't gonna lie, bro. KD number one for
Kobe.
me. Jane Harden might be number two for me, bro. Jane Harden my top one of my top five though, for sure.
Top 5 scorers? Yeah, for sure, I can
Top
see
five
that. What
scores for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Kobe's up there.
Kobe.
He scored 81 in the game.
Yep.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, man,
For sure.
that's a tough list. That's a list that I had to sit down because there's so many great scorers.
I
That's a
agree.
list that I have to, sit down,
Off
but
the top of your
Melo,
head though, you put him top 10?
yeah, for sure, I think he gotta be top 10.
Yeah, I think he gotta be top 10 because I think if I'm not mistaken, he's either top 10 or top 15 in points all time.
Yeah,
So, he's definitely one of the elites for sure, for sure.
yeah,
I agree with you
he was a
100%.
bucket. He was a
I think
bucket.
that I think that, like you said, my definition of a scorer would be when you need a bucket, you get him the ball and get out the way. You know what I mean? Like you say, like a LeBron, like a Kobe, like a Harden, like a KD, like a Melo, like a Brunson. I would consider Brunson a scoring guard. I would consider him a scorer, like a T Mac, somebody like
Yeah,
that, or like a Paul Pierce.
yeah, Dame Lillard,
Yeah,
Kyrie,
like a
all them
Dame,
scorers,
Kyrie.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like boys like that. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely think I'm inclined to agree with you. Melo is definitely in my top 10. One of the teams I know we talked about our way too early predictions 2 episodes ago, but one of the
Mhm.
teams that we forgot to talk about, which I don't know how we forgot to talk about these people, but was the Spurs. So with a healthy Fox, first of all, how you feel about De'Aaron Fox? I personally think that De'Aaron Fox is very, very underrated, and a lot of time people really be disrespecting him, bro. Like I
Yeah.
really feel like De'Aaron Fox is an elite point guard, bro.
Yeah, I think Fox is, he's gotta be one of the best PGs in the league, right? Gotta be top 10.
He definitely top 10. He's 100% top 10.
Yeah, he gotta be. So I think the Spurs are scary, honestly. If Wemby can stay healthy for the course of the year, I think the Spurs are scary. I think the Spurs can make the playoffs. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I think they can make the playoffs.
I definitely thought the exact same. That was my exact thought process on it too. I think that they can make the playoffs.
Even if it's through the play in route.
Yeah,
I
they
think
for
they can
sure
make
they
the
for sure playing, for sure, for sure.
yeah. Yeah, I
'Cause I
think
mean,
they
they
can make it.
wasn't the Spurs weren't bad last year, they were just still trying to figure out their identity, like,
Mhm.
they were dumping the ball. They ain't start really just feeding Wemby until, like, after Christmas, you know what I mean? Like, they were
Yeah.
still trying to figure out how to play with each other, so I definitely think that, I agree with you 100%. They're gonna be playing at least, for sure, at least playing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so something else that happened recently was John Wall recently retired from basketball, bro. He so John Wall got drafted in 2010, played with them till 2020. In 10 years with the Wizards, he averaged 19 and 9, took them to the playoffs 4 times in 4 straight years from 2014 to 2018. Do you think that the Washington Wizards should retire John Wall's jersey?
Man, that's a tough
What do
question.
you think it takes? What do you think the criteria should be to get your jersey retired? Let's just go there.
I mean, you have to do something for that franchise that like you don't necessarily have to win a championship. Like, for example, I think Dame should have his jersey retired by
In
the
Portland?
Trailblazers. Yeah. I think you know what I mean? Like you have to have a career like that, like a
Yeah,
memorable like
yeah.
career. And John Wall is kind of tricky because he was so his game is so like full of highlights. So it's
Mhm,
naturally like fun to watch him.
mhm.
So you know what I'm saying? So I can't really recall like off the top of my head like if he had the memorable career to have his jersey retired, but I think he did a lot for that franchise. So I
I agree,
lean
I agree,
yes.
I agree, I agree. I
I lean yes.
think what would make me say yes is that I ain't gonna say he revived the Wizards, but, like, he definitely
He
sold some
gave
more
them
tickets.
meaning.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah,
yeah,
he
for
he made
sure.
you watch, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He made you pay attention to the Wizards, you know what I'm saying? Him and Bradley Beal, they had a really, really good run in Washington. So, keep in mind, I mean, the Bulls retired Derrick Rose jersey. Now granted, Derrick Rose was the MVP, and he went to war with LeBron James, but I mean, as far as accolades are concerned, you know what I mean? I would say John Wall ain't too far behind. He not Derrick Rose, but he not too far
Right,
behind. So
right.
I wouldn't be mad if Washington retired John Wall jersey. But I agree with you 100% though. I think people like Dame need to get their jersey retired. Who else?
Like if you stuck like in your prime with the franchise and
Yeah,
you did some things, I think having your
yeah.
jersey retired should
I
be
think Trey
pretty
Young on his way to get his jersey retired.
yeah, yeah. Cause
I think
he been to the East Conference Finals once, right?
I want to
Yeah,
say, yep, you're right. Atlanta Hawks last Eastern Conference Final was 2021.
yeah,
Lost to the Bucks. That was
yeah.
when Giannis was on his bully, on his real bully. I hope that the Bucks are not. I hope that they have a pretty decent season. They re-signed the brother, the Nassus,
Mhm.
because the word is that Greek Freak really play a whole lot better with his brother on the bench. Obviously, a big part of it is that's your brother, but another part of it is just that the energy he bring to the
Yeah,
team. You know what I mean? I think that I want to say Andre Drummond told a similar story to the NASA story. Kind of is, at some point in time when you're not on the court, you ain't gonna play every second of every game. So when you're on that sideline, bro, you need to be doing the intangibles,
yeah,
man,
for
hyping your
sure.
teammates up, make sure you clapping for everybody, keeping the spirits up. You know what I mean? How important is
Yeah.
that to a team, a player like that?
Man, man, that's very important. That's leadership. Like people think, leadership has to be the best player on the floor. No, leadership has to be with the guy who shows up every day. The guy who's selfless. Like that's
Yeah, for
great
sure.
leadership. Just like how the Heat did how the Heat did
Yeah, Donis Haslam.
Udonis Haslam, yeah.
Yeah,
How the Heat did him, similar thing. It's a leadership thing. You know what I
yeah, for
mean?
sure.
Like and teams do that, just like the Pacers with James.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jane Johnson.
James Johnson, yes,
Yeah,
it's a leadership
yeah,
thing. Like you paying these guys to be your veterans in the locker room, your
yeah, for
leaders.
sure.
Like I think that goes a long way for a team, especially with that leadership presence. With that, you basically can have a culture guy. Like he's been here
Yeah,
when the
for sure.
culture was this. You know what I mean? So that's the standard.
I think that's one of the things that makes OKC so interesting to
Unique
me, bro,
team, yeah.
is because they all, like, super young. They all just rally around the head of the snake, bro.
Well, and I got to shout out to their GM for this, but that's why they went and got Caruso, and he changed
Yeah. Yeah. He
he
did.
changed the team,
He
like,
did.
cause he had that championship presence, like,
Yeah.
like, "This is what we have to
Yeah.
do, we need to do this, we
Yeah.
need to be tough." Like, they
Yeah.
throwing Caruso on centers, like,
Yeah.
like, "Go be
Caruso
tough."
was Caruso was probably it probably wouldn't have been a better pickup for that team specifically
Yeah,
than
for
Alex
sure.
Caruso, bro. Like you
Man,
said,
that's
he
like
bring the
man,
championship mentality. He brings the championship intangibles. He won, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah, I agree with you 100%, bro. I think that
that
was a
was a
major
great
pickup.
pickup.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see what this next not only NBA season holds for us, but NCAA season holds for us. We got a couple more months left before basketball kicks back off. So, a couple of housekeeping things before we get ready to shut the show down for the day. Obviously, remember that we're down to one episode a week, Mondays at 6 a.m. So hopefully you catch us in transit on your way to school and work. We are going to have seasonal episodes. So as we continue to go through this podcast journey, these next couple of episodes up until right before basketball season start will be season one. But we plan on getting everything figured out and cleaned up by the time we come back for season two. Right. So make sure you stay tuned with Successful Habits Podcast. And Coach, what you got to stay tuned before we let them go?
Man, thank you for checking in with another episode of Successful Habits Podcast. Make sure you have a great week. Get off to a great start. Say your affirmations in the morning, man. Get better each and every day this week. And catch us next Mondays. Same time. We're going to drop every Monday at 6 in the morning while we finish up this season, man. I hope you all have a great week.
We out.
We out.